Hi everybody, it's Julie, and today I wanted to share a fun card that I made for my daughter's sister-in-law who recently announced that she's expecting a baby. So exciting. And I wanted to congratulate her and her husband. So I thought it would be fun to send her this card because she's got a really great sense of humor, and I knew that this would just bust her up. So I'm going to ink up the polka dot stamp set. I'm working with the largest scribbly circle here, and archival jet black, and then I'm going to use the next size down of scribbly circles and nest that inside the larger one there. I'm also stamping on Canson 140-pound watercolor paper. I really like this watercolor paper, and I like to flip the paper over and stamp on the smoother side so I get a nice crisp impression. And while I'm at it, I'm going to use Label Love and use the Congrats sentiment by Altenew there and get my sentiment all ready to go, also with archival jet black onto some scrap white cardstock. Now, to color my image, I decided to use my Peerless watercolor palette. This is a portable palette that I made in a tutorial for ellenhudson.com. And I laid down some clean color first with my water brush, and then I loaded up the color on my brush. And this way I was not getting quite as intense a color because I wasn't sure how dark a red I wanted. I kind of wanted a soft shell pinkish color. And I started adding more color and more color, and I'm just moving the paintbrush around there in kind of a swirly motion, kind of mimicking the scribbly circles. And then when I got to this point, I was realizing that it was really darker than I wanted. So I'm going to set that palette aside, and I'm going to take my water brush and just take some clean water and go right over what I've already painted and start diluting that color a little bit there. So it's going to soften it up. And then I can take a clean paper towel and just lay that right over the top, and I will blot up the excess water and blot up some of that color so it won't be as intense as it is right now. So I did this once or twice and just kind of continued adding water and rotating my napkin to get a clean spot to blot that up, and then I'll set that aside to dry. And I also have to remember that when it dries, it will be less intense as it was when it was wet. So now I'm focusing on the sentiment, and it's kind of a small piece and it's hard to hang on to. So I decided when I started trimming it down, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to hang on to that thing because it's so skinny. So I stuck it onto the sticky part of a Post-it note, which gave me something to hang on to, and then I could slip it under the paper bale and still hang on to it and get it lined up straight there under the blade and go ahead and make a nice clean trim. And this is such a tiny sliver I'm cutting off. I could have used my scissors, I guess, but I just always end up getting a much straighter cut if I go ahead and use my tonic, and I wanted it to really look nice and straight like the Dymo labels, because I'm going to be using a Dymo label maker to do the inside of the card. So now I'm going to take some Neenah Solar White, 110-pound, make a base card that's an A2 size, and I creased it there, or I scored it with my mini Martha Stewart scoreboard, and then I'm just going to use my Teflon bone folder to crease that fold line. I love that thing. I didn't think I needed one until Ellen sent me one for my birthday, and then I was like, oh my gosh, this thing is awesome. And so I can't make a card without it now. I'm going to do a little bit of trimming of the watercolor panel to fit my A2 card and just leave a little bit of a border there. And I put adhesive only in the center area of the watercolor panel because I like the edges to kind of curl up. It gives it a little bit more of dimension and a little bit more of a layered look, even though, there's really not a lot of layers here. And I'm going to use a fine tip black marker to draw a little bit of imagery here on my card. I know you know where I'm going with this. It's just too funny. It cracks me up. And then I'm going to take the sentiment and add some foam tape behind that. And then once again, because my fingers get in the way, I'm going to use my tweezers to just peel off that liner paper and get a hold of that sentiment. And then I can see so much better when I use my tweezers that I'm getting something mounted exactly where I want it, nice and straight. And then I'm just using some scratch paper over the top there just to make sure I don't actually get the ink transferring to my fingers, just in case. And there you can see the finished card. I thought it turned out awesome. It was so quick and easy. There's my Dymo label maker on the inside there. So funny, and she really did get a kick out of that. So all the supplies are available at ellenhudson.com, and thanks for watching.